Yeah, so just to start, as usual, we'll go through a few housekeeping here. One is about the call. The call is being recorded. So then, should you miss it or should you want to replay it after this, you can always go to YouTube channel, look for Kenya HMIS, and you'll be able to get the recordings for this and all the previous recordings, all the previous trainings that we've had virtually. Second thing is that for the introductions, we are requesting everyone that has joined the training, kindly do self introduction under the chat section. Just mention your full name, the organization you are working for, and your designation. So that will really help. Then again, should you have a question, one, you feel free to type it under the text section. We'll be able to respond to the question. But if you feel there is a question that maybe you need to stop the facilitator, kindly just raise up your hand. There is an icon for raising up your hand. The facilitator will see that and will be able to stop so that you either seek clarity or you ask the question that you might want to ask during the session. Okay, so I think today, as I shared with you yesterday, we are going to have a deep dive into data warehouse. So I guess data warehouse is not new to everyone. It's something that I think you guys have always pushed your data to the national data warehouse. But then again, how do you utilize this resource? How do you utilize the visualizations and as a resource? So we are going to take you through all that between now and 4. So we'll request that you become attentive and also get to really follow with the facilitator. So for a start, I'll share with you the URL to the data national data warehouse. I'll just paste it under the chat screen. So look under the chat, you are going to find the URL there. Feel free to just get to that site so then we can move together as we train. Okay, so I guess we are free to start. So today we are going to be, our facilitator is going to be from our data use department. We are going to be taken through this particular course by Margaret Mariga. Margaret, if you are in, I don't know if you may just want to say a word and maybe take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Margaret. I'll be taking you through today's session on the National Data Warehouse. I can see Caro has raised her hand, so I don't know if she's allowed to say something before I continue.
Yes, Caro, please continue. What did you have to say? I think Caro was stretching her hands. You may just continue.
Okay, so I'll be taking you through the data warehouse. Unfortunately, today we are having an intermittent link between in NASCOP for the internet, so the warehouse is up and down intermittently, but hopefully between now and end of our session, it will be stable enough for us to continue. So I've shared my screen. I don't know if, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. So once you log into the, okay, let me just first of all take you through the warehouse from when we get the data from the facility, it comes to the warehouse. We run a refresh every Friday. So if you send data on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we run the refresh on Friday, every Friday. Then the numbers get updated on the dashboards by Monday. So what you can see on my screen right now is the homepage. we just have an overview of the HMIS statistics for the data that is in the warehouse. And every dashboard in the warehouse has the 4 standard filters at the top. So we have county, we have sub-county, we have facility, and we have care and treatment partner. So for every dashboard in the warehouse, you will get these 4 standard filters in it. There may others may have more, others may have yes, more filters, but the standard are these 4. So for us to filter down, you just go and select your partner. For example, if I can select Afya Nyota ya Bonde, for example. Okay. Yeah, I've just realized one of my filters is not working. But when you select a partner, the numbers on the dashboards change to reflect the numbers for that particular partner and the number of facilities to that have uploaded. I am preempting a question that I'm expecting to be asked. Sometimes on the warehouse, when we upload a database that is well updated and is recent, the numbers don't reflect what we have uploaded or what we have in the facility. This is because the computation on the warehouse was slightly different. Before we started doing the bulletins for the reporting rates, most of the facilities never used to upload. But now as we have more facilities uploading, then we are adapting the warehouse to the needs of our partners, to the needs of NASCOP, to the needs of CDC and USAID and DOD. And as such, the active on ART patients computation on the warehouse will be changed now accordingly to reflect what you have in the facilities. Initially, we were computing for active by the time you're uploading, and then you add 90 days. But now we'll be calculating like based on end of month. So for example, if you look at the dashboard on Monday, we'll be showing the numbers active on ART as at 30th of June 2020, okay? Then when we move to August, then the month will move and we'll be showing active as at July 2020. This is so that we are able to just make sure that the active numbers we are showing on the warehouse is actually the active as in the facilities. So to move forward, the first dashboard that I'll be showing is the reporting rates dashboard. So on the left-hand side of the screen, we have a list of menus. You can click on the collapse button, and it will show you a list of menus. So from there, we click on reporting rates and then overview. The error you're seeing on my page right now, our web page is slowing down your connection, is because NASCOP requested us to incorporate Google Analytics on the warehouse. They would like to learn who is accessing the warehouse, where are they accessing the warehouse from, so that we're able to meet everybody's needs. So from this dashboard, you'll be able to see the filters, county, agency, service delivery partner, and then the upload month here. So in this case, the month that has been selected is June 2020. We are looking at everyone, all the facilities that uploaded between us.
Excuse me, Maggie.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, there's a comment that your voice is far away. That is
can you hear me now? Rugut, am I audible now?
Yes.
Sorry for that. So like I was saying, the reporting rates dashboard, the default month that we show in the upload month here is for the recent complete month. So in this case, you will see June 2020. And this means it's these numbers are showing for all the facilities that expected uploads is all the active EMR facilities. I know this number has gone up as at yesterday, and it will be updated by Monday. And then overall reporting rate is the number of facilities that uploaded data warehouse to the data warehouse in the month of June. Okay, and then recency of reporting for Pkvs. So what does Pkv mean? In the WAPI, you're expected to upload HTS, care and treatment, and there's another docket called MPI, Master Patient Index. So what the Master Patient Index has is it has a list of all patients without the names, okay? What we get in the warehouse is a list of all patients, whether they're in care and treatment, whether they're in HTS. And then what in the WAPI, there's a code that is generated for all the patients. So for each patient, it's the code that is generated is a concatenation of the patient's gender. Then there's an algorithm called SoundX that is run on the first name. There's another algorithm called double metaphone that is run on the second name, and the year and the date of birth. So what this means is that each patient in the database has this code appended to their patient PK, right? So we have like in facility Kenyatta, for example, site code is 13023. We get patient PK1, whose gender is male, so we'll have M, whose they have a first name John, so we may have something like JH, whose middle name is Wamboi. We may have a code for Wamboi like WMK, and then we have the date of birth, 2nd of January, 1990, for example. So that comes as a code to the warehouse. And what we use this code for is we try and check for duplicates. So is this patient one from Kenyatta, does she or he exist in any other facility? Okay. Or if a facility has HTS and care and treatment, and in HTS they registered a client, Margaret, tested Margaret turned positive. When Margaret went to CCC, a new record for Margaret was registered. You know, that is not the ideal way of working with the EMR systems. What you're supposed to do is when Margaret reaches CCC, you're supposed to find Margaret in the EMR, then enroll them into care and treatment so that their record is one from HTS to care and treatment. But in the event that HTS and care and treatment records are separate, this patient key value helps us to identify that the Margaret was tested in HTS in this facility, and the Margaret was tested and the Margaret was enrolled in care and treatment in the same facility is the same person. Okay, that's why we have the Pkvs, and that's why you can see even in the reporting rates bulletin that is normally shared out, part of we normally look at Pkvs. The number currently is quite low. The expectation is when you're uploading care and treatment, you also upload Pkv. If your facility has HTS, care and treatment, and Pkv, you're expected to upload all 3 dockets at any given time. Okay. So from this particular dashboard, you can filter by partner, for example. I think my Tableau has a problem. So the filters are not working quite well, but okay, it's now okay. So like now we can see that Afya Nyota in June, we expected 59 sites to upload. 58 sites uploaded, which is good, which is 98%. The filter is not working for Pkvs. I'll fix that. Then, and I think that's the reason why we are having it's giving us the Tableau error because of that. So then we'd be able to see how many of those sites uploaded for Pkvs, okay? Then we are able to see that in May, how many sites uploaded, in June, how many sites uploaded, or in April, how many sites uploaded by partner, okay? Then once we have looked at reporting rates, just give me a minute, I unshare my screen, I check something out. Sorry.
Okay, in the meantime, as Maggie is fixing that, for the people who are joining us, kindly introduce yourself under the text area. just the name and the name, your designation, and the partner you are working with. Thank you. So maybe as we wait for Maggie, let me confirm again if the following partners have joined. I know KCCB is in. I saw Rugut. Feel welcome. I've seen Kennedy Courier from Walter Reed South Thrift. Karibu sana. Anyone from CHS Shinda? Sim Shinda not in. Anyone from Afya Jijini? Afya Jijini hawako. Amref? Okay, I'm told they're on the way. CHS Naishi? UMB and Eleza? Okay, yeah, so I guess they'll catch up with us along the way. Maggie, I don't know if you are ready back.
Not yet. Let me just try. I don't know, is there anyone who's able to access the warehouse? Because I'm getting an error on my side. Possibly because of the intermittent.
Kuna shida. Can you see?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we'll just work without filters for now. It will be a great assignment to give you guys to go through the filters when everything is up and running well. So I was talking about the reporting rates. So under reporting rates, we also have by county, where you can see the reporting rates for a particular month by listed by county. So how each of the counties is the sites that have contributed to the recent number of facilities by county. Anyone who's able to access the warehouse and it's pretty fast. So I know if the problem is on my end or it's actually the server. Yeah, so like this page will show you by county, by county. Then we have by partner, where you'll see the reporting rates again by partner. think something is breaking this page. So by partner, you'll be able like to see how the partners are doing. The best partners like Bomo uploaded all the 6 of their sites. CHS Naishi uploaded all their sites in the month of June. Then we have UMB Timiza didn't upload 2 of their sites. We have CHS Shinda who uploaded 86 of the 97 facilities. So from this particular page, I know this session we are having with partners or someone affiliated to a partner organization. This list of sites is what that is used in the warehouse is what we have as the active facilities supported by the partner. So when the SECA team reach out to you and ask you to send a list of your active sites, this is the reason why we use these particular sites as a what do I call it? Baseline, as a baseline for as a denominator for the reporting rates. So like you can see UN CRISP Plus, we have 21 of 35 sites that are active, uploaded in the month of, and Kenya Prison Services only one site uploaded. Then after that, after we've received the data and we're able to stay out of the sites that are uploaded to the warehouse, we look at the quality of the ART data received. And on this particular page, so we start with an overview of the data quality where we talk about the valid records and the invalid records. So we are doing a score of 63%. So when we talk about valid records, we say of the data elements that I will show you in the completeness and in the accuracy pages, of those data elements, all the data elements are complete, as in they are filled. Okay, none of them is missing. So we have date of birth, we have enrollment date, we have start ART date and the regimen, we have the last ART date and the regimen, we have the HIV diagnosis date, and we have the baseline viral load and the viral load date for anyone who's been on ART for more than 6 months. So when we talk about valid records, we are saying all those elements have data and the data is valid, like it meets the accuracy criteria. You don't have someone who's starting ART before they enrolled. You don't have someone who has a HIV diagnosis date after they have started ART, and so on and so forth. So when we break down the invalid categories, what do we have? So we have accurate and incomplete. What this means is that for all the data elements that we have some incomplete elements. So you have, maybe someone does not have the HIV diagnosis date, but they have all the other elements in there, right? And then all the elements that they have, they are correct, they are accurate. So you have the date of birth, the enrollment date is after the date of birth, the start ART date is after the date of birth and is after enrollment. The baseline viral load is available and it was done 6 months after ART start. That means that record, it's only that it's incomplete because it's missing the HIV diagnosis date, but all the other elements are accurate. Okay, then we have complete and inaccurate. What does this mean? This means that all the records are available, all the data elements are available, right? So you have the date of birth, enrollment, diagnosis, start ART, last ART date, baseline viral load and the date, the regimens, they're all there. But we have inaccurate records. What this means is, so if you send a record to the warehouse and the start ART date is before the enrollment, we've had instances where that is happening. Then that we consider that record inaccurate, because how are you starting ART before you're enrolled into care? Another thing is that we say your record is inaccurate if it has an invalid regimen. For example, someone is on TDF plus TTC plus efference plus nevirapine. That's an non-existent regimen. Then, or you have, or you have TDF plus TTC. You have like AF1A plus TDF plus, you know, those funny regimens. Yes. Then we consider that an inaccurate record, and that is why we flag it out. Then inaccurate and incomplete is that there are some elements that are missing, and the ones that are available are actually not accurate. So you may have missing diagnosis date and missing baseline viral load, but then the start ART date appears to be before the date of birth, for example. I'm just giving arbitrary examples. So that's how we categorize that. So for you to be able to see exactly by data element, the completeness or the accuracy, then you come to data quality completeness. And you can see on the left-hand side of the page, elements checked for completeness. I've listed the elements. We have listed the elements and what we actually check for. So in this case, I don't know if, hopefully this filter works. So it seems like there's a connection issue. But on this particular page, what you're able to do is you're able to filter by partner. I'm glad Chuck, I heard Victor's voice. So I'm sure he's here. He'll be able to tell you that this page actually works because we went through this in the morning. So you're able to filter by partner. If you filter by partner, then you select the facility. So the, good, it's working. So you'll be able, you have selected your partner, like Afya Nyota ya Bonde in this case, right? Then you pick facility in the bottom filter. Like I said before, the top 4 are standard. The bottom one is just to help go through the data again properly. So when you see by facility, you'll be able to go through and see Bahati District Hospital, for example, 514 people of those considered active don't have a diagnosis date, right? 24 of the patients don't have baseline viral load, okay? So what this total incomplete records means, it's a unique. You don't add 514 and 24 to get the incomplete records. You may get that there's a client McGee who is missing a diagnosis date and is missing a baseline viral load. You may get another client who is McGee 2 who is only missing diagnosis date. Or you may get another one, McGee 3, who is only missing the baseline viral load information, okay? So this total incomplete records is not an addition of the missing records. So for all the records in this particular, or apart from, yeah, like in Nanyuki District Hospital, we have someone who has a start ART date, but no regimen, or a start regimen and no date. How that is possible, I don't know. So in the EMRs, both Kenya EMR and IQCare, I know we have DQA line lists, and the DQA line lists that we have in the facilities should be able to help us clean this out, right? Low-hanging fruits, Ngobit dispensary, where you only have, this means this database is a little bit stale. You may need to upload a more recent database for this particular site. But you can go through this and see how the facilities are doing. Encourage them to use the line lists in the DQA line list in the EMRs to clean out this data, okay? Then for accuracy, the same, you get the dashboard just looks like this. You're able to filter by partner, and then you change to see by facility, and you're able to see the number of inaccurate records per data element and then by facility. Is that okay? Any question up to there? Okay, no question, I move on. So like you'll notice up here, this is the test instance of the data warehouse that we have in Palladium. This is the test instance that I'm using. So if you go to the live, which is nascop.org, you'll not be able to see data alignment because it's under test. So I'll not go through that. I'll just go directly into published section. So the published section we just have the general page, which has HMI statistics, similar to the landing page. And then Palladium has been working with NASCOP to conduct the cohort analysis. And every year, once the cohort analysis is done, we archive the data. So this data you'll see in the published section is data that was used for cohort analysis for the particular year. So for 2017 cohort analysis, 2016 cohort analysis, and 2015 cohort analysis. What does this mean? If your facility was not uploading to the warehouse at the time that the cohort analysis for 2017 was being done, the data will not be available. Even if you have uploaded today, the data will not be available in the published section. This because we have archived this data. This is as at the time the analysis was being done, okay? So that's why we have the cohort home, the patient distribution, the viral suppression, attrition, and 12-month retention. For this particular dashboard, the way retention is computed in the warehouse might be slightly different from the way it is computed in the facilities. Reason being, in the warehouse, we drop anyone who has missing outcomes. So on this dashboard down here at the very bottom, you'll see that we have put some definitions. So net cohort is anybody who was started on ART, including transfer ins. Then we subtract the excluded. The excluded who we are subtracting is anyone with a missing outcome, right? Which is a huge number that we exclude. And that makes, so our retention becomes the retained at 12 months, who is alive and retained at 12 months, divided by the net cohort, and then you get the retention rate, as opposed to having the retained over the started on ART. Is that okay? So standard filters all through. So we have this is the archived data. So if you wanted to see the kind of data that was used for cohort 2017 from the warehouse, this is where you come in. Then under EMR implementation, we normally have PLHIV coverage that we normally check for the data that is in the warehouse versus what we have in DHIS. So in this case, we generate data for all EMR sites. We generate all data for all facilities that have uploaded, that have sent data to DHIS. Okay, then we have data from all EMR sites. What contribution of DHIS numbers to these EMR sites? What is the contribution by the EMR sites? Then we also look at how many facilities have uploaded to the warehouse and have uploaded to DHIS for the particular month. It's taking a little bit of time to open, but I think it's an important dashboard to show. Okay, so it seems like that one has refused. Let's go to the live section. So in the live section, we have two sections. We have the general section where we have a story on active on ART. We have a story on the viral loads. Then we have adolescents and then the adolescent viral loads. So, yes, sorry. Yeah. I think the intermittent network problem that we are facing is that is bringing all this up.
Unless it's calculating from the last day's visit. Using that. You mean like the miscellaneous to how much? That I understand.
I've been thrown out again. Anyone who's able to access? I'm so sorry for this. So Otieno, I think in any other training for the data warehouse, we may need to have it in the morning. So we are back. So like I was saying, are we together? Can I hear someone saying wave so that I know I'm not alone?
Yes, Maggie, we are together.
Okay, good. So for this
Yes, we are together.
PLHIV, for this PLHIV dashboard, like I had said before, we normally do it every quarter. So we are due to doing the one for June, and we'll have it published by end of July. So we have the number of facilities that have uploaded in the particular month. In this case, we have March 2020 to DHIS2. Then out of these facilities that uploaded to DHIS2, we have 33 of those sites had an EMR, which is 1,112 sites had an EMR, and they reported 78% of the ART patients to DHIS in the same month. Please note, we use we have the list of active EMR sites, and that is what we use to compare with what is in DHIS. Then out of these 112 EMR facilities, 952 had reported to both DHIS and the warehouse as at March 2020. Then that contributes to like 63% of all the records reported in DHIS. These clients reported in DHIS had records in the data warehouse as at March 2020. Okay. And then 85% of the patients who are seen at EMR sites, because we look at now 734 over 921, had records in the data warehouse. So this is what that dashboard looks at, so that when we are talking about active on ART from the warehouse, it's informed. It's a good 78%, 63% is a good representation of the active on ART patients that we have and are being seen in EMR sites. Yes. So this is what PEPFAR, for example, used when they were saying scale up to only sites that are have this number of patients, and support will stop for these very small facilities because their contribution is negligible. Such an analysis is what was used from the warehouse to inform that. Then I continue and go to the live section where we have general and we have cohorts. I'll go very fast because I want us to go through the ad hoc section. Hopefully it will be accessible through NASCOP. So the live section, this section is normally refreshed every week. So the numbers that you see on this particular, so from this section moving downwards is refreshed every week. And then we also have cohorts. So for the cohort dashboard, for example, the difference between the live section cohort and the cohort that was in the published section is this data is refreshed. So if you're to look at cohort for 2017 in the published section, and cohort for 2017 in the live section, the data will be different because for the sites that had not uploaded by the time the analysis was being done in 2018, 2019 around June. For the sites that had not uploaded the data, then their numbers will not be in the published section, okay? But then those numbers will be available in the live section. So at the live section, we're just giving like an overview of the actual status in the facilities currently, okay? Then you have the same, so for the particular cohort dashboards, you're able to go by patient distribution, you're able to see the distribution of the particular cohort, you're able to change the cohort year, so you're able to see if you want to look at 2013 cohort, 2018 cohort, 2005, for example, then you're able to see the numbers. And then the patient distribution, the viral load suppression for the various cohorts, and a subset for the pregnant women. So for pregnant women, please note, this is not PMTCT data because we are currently not receiving PMTCT data from the facility. This is an inference. We infer this from the pregnancy status that is recorded in the green card. So when you're filling a green card form and you fill in the triage information and you indicate a woman is pregnant and the expected date of delivery, just a minute, sorry. Yeah, so when you record that a woman is pregnant at ART start, that is the value that we use to as a proxy for pregnant women. Then moving forward, we received some requests from USAID CDC from Pkvs that there are some priorities that they would like to track, and there are priorities that are of interest to CDC, Pkvs, and NASCOP as well on patient distribution. So they want to see the outcomes. Sorry, they want to see how our ART patients are distributed. Sorry, it seems like the page is not back up. Then test and treat. So how are we doing in terms of test and treat? Are we starting our clients on time, or are the clients, what is the median time to ART start for the client starting on ART? Then we are able to see that across the years. Treatment outcomes, out of those who are started on ART, how many have we retained? How many have died? How many have transferred out? How many are lost to follow up? That is in treatment outcomes. TLD analysis is being analyzed separately under ARV optimization. Then there's viral load monitoring. How many of the active patients have achieved viral suppression? How many have low viremia? And how many have a high viral load? Okay, so from this particular dashboard, if there's no documentation, if we don't document viral load results at the facility, then in this particular dashboard will be, the facility will be faring on poorly. But if the viral load results are well documented and we get this up, we're able to show where is our facility, how can we help the CASCOs from NASCOP, how can we help the CASCOs reach those facilities, what challenges are the facilities facing in terms of service delivery. Then we are able to work together with NASCOP, together with few partners, to ensure that our facilities get the support that they need. Then we have differentiated service delivery, DSD. How well are we implementing DSD? Do we have clients who are eligible for DSD but are still being given 1 month TCS? Or do we have clients who are not eligible for DSD but are being given more than 3 months TCA? What kind of service delivery do we have in the facilities? So that is what the COP19 priorities are about. And I'm sure soon we'll have the COP20 priorities. So we'll have extra dashboards for COP20. ARV optimization is part of the test.
Excuse me, Maggie, there's a hand up. Somebody.
Sorry, yes.
Jacob Masai.
Yes,
thank
Jacob.
You. Yeah, my question is about the programming that has gone in terms of capturing the differentiated care, because we need to understand what the programming behind your system, because at the facility you find that even if a client is given a longer TCA, he has to go with the drugs for 3 months. Thank you.
So maybe we can work together for me to understand this. Yes, you said even if a client is given a longer TCA, they have to go for drugs. They have to get drugs for 3 months, right? So
Sure.
there's a place where we say whether we are saying the client is stable or unstable, right?
Yeah.
So if a client is marked as stable,
Okay.
what I'm expecting is they'll be given a TCA for 6 months.
Okay.
That's the quote unquote the expectation, right? So that if a client is unstable, I do not expect to see them getting an appointment for 6 months because they need to be followed up more closely. We're not confident enough that they will take their drugs and whatnot, right? So this particular dashboard helps us just to see out of these patients who are stable,
Mm-hmm.
how many, I mean, out of these patients who are unstable, how many are made unstable because of their BMI? How many are being made unstable because they have not reached the eligibility criteria, which I think you're supposed to be on ART for more than a year and whatnot, right? And you're supposed to be more than 20 years. Your BMI is supposed to be 18. Wait, is it 18 plus, right? So what we're trying to say is out of this unstable, the people we are saying who are unstable, we now disaggregate them. I wish that dashboard could open because it would show you clearly how that works. So like drill down and show like these people who are unstable, this number is because they have BMI issues. This number is because they've not been on ART for more than a year. This number is because of this. But then when we drill down to the stable guys, in the facilities, are we giving guys TCAs for more? Are we implementing the ART guidelines as set by NASCO? Okay. So do we have someone who has been marked in the facility? You know, there's a place where the health worker says, I disagree that this person is stable even if they meet all the requirements. Or there's the system says that you're unstable and then I still go ahead and give you a TCA for 6 months. Is that meeting the ART guidelines as set by NASCO? Or why are we going around this? Is it because of lack of, yes, yeah, good. So when you talk about this page, for example, we're saying those guys who are unstable, right? 14% of them have a high viral load. That is why they are not stable. Of them, 10% have been on ART for less than 12 months. Of those, 8% are their last visits, the ages at their last visit are less than 20 years, okay? And then there's OIs. So by this, what we're trying to say is, we're just trying to show you for the data that we have in the warehouse, we have classified 71% of the clients as stable. But is this what is happening? Is this the correct criteria? Is this what we have in the facilities? I pose it back to you. Interact with this dashboard for your facilities. Give us feedback and tell us, Bagi, Apo, I don't agree with you, or Apo, I agree with you.
Because you might find that a client is a stable one, and has been given 3 months grants. Because you cannot, even if you are given a longer duration, you shall be posted with 2 TCA. So in your programming, which one are you using?
We use the TCA that is recorded in the visit information.
Because we have a 2 TCA. When a client leaves the facility, he has 2 TCA, one for refill and another one for clinical visit. So
for this particular dashboard, we use the TCA that is the clinical TCA, the one that is filled by the clinician, not the one for refill. Even to view the appointment duration, the dashboard for appointment duration, use the TCA, the next appointment date, as filled by the clinician. So
Within the
yes,
green-
yes, within the green card.
Okay.
So that we can say that this person, Maggie, who's been marked as stable, the clinician has correctly given her a 6-month appointment. Okay? Even if they come, so when they come back for the 3 months, there's a dashboard that we've not published. It's called multi-month prescription, MMS, so that we can show out of these people who are stable, how many are being given drugs for 6 months? How many are being given drugs for 3 months? Are we adhering to the guidelines? Okay, so the visit that the TCA that we normally use is from the visit form for this particular dashboard. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, any other question? So I can continue? Okay,
Yes, you can continue.
then the other set of dashboards is for HTS. I would have loved to go through this. Hopefully it opens. So HTS is, I know partners who have HTS sites, I know this is a bone of contention, but so for HTS sites, we get the data for HTS testing, test kits, linkage, and the focus for these HTS dashboards mostly is linkage. So how do we compute linkage in the warehouse? In the warehouse, linkage is checked if, okay, if you have a linkage form field. Okay, so if a client, you've registered, let me just give you a scenario. You've registered Maggie in HTS, right? Maggie turns positive, okay? Maggie so I decide I'm going to start ART in this facility, or I want to access services from this facility. And so you fill for me a linkage form and say Maggie is now going to be linked in this facility. Then I go to CCC and my information is filled there, right? So I have a documented linkage form. That means I have been linked. The definition according to NASCOP is that I have been linked. The other criteria where you can have in the warehouse where someone is said to be linked is you have Maggie. She has been tested in this facility. She has turned positive. She goes to CCC without a linkage form filled in HTS, okay? Goes to CCC, my record for HTS, the one that was filled, HTS details were filled, is retrieved, and I am filled for a CCC enrollment information, okay? That means Maggie has been linked, okay? Now, a scenario where Maggie has not been linked is Maggie has come to CCC, I mean HTS, Maggie has been tested, Maggie has turned positive. Going to CCC, Maggie goes there, a totally new, yani you register Maggie afresh, ni kama hajatoka CCC. Registration of Maggie is done afresh. So unless you upload the Pkvs, we are not able to tell that this Maggie was tested in CCC, I mean in HTS is the same Maggie as the one tested in CCC. Okay, is that clear? I hope I've made it clear. So as long as people are tested in HTS and then totally new records for them are created in CCC and there's no link between the two records, then we'll not be able to show that that person has been linked. So as we are advising the facilities, kindly let them, when someone comes from HTS, let them find that person in the system, then enroll them into care. The same record that was filled for HTS information to be enrolled into care. Are we together? So that's where we have, so there's a note up here. The data is for testing services offered in 261 EHTS facilities between January 2020 and April 2020. So because here it's up to January up to April, I can extend this and say up to July. So this data will only be showing for a particular period. So if you want, for example, to view the data for 2019, I'll show you how to remove the filters and how to go back. Okay, so let's so that you don't just filter by year and then no numbers appear on the dashboard. It doesn't mean that your numbers are not there. Hey, Friday afternoon is a day for uploading data. That one I agree. So maybe as we wait for it to go round and round, any questions? Any comments, any concerns? So maybe as the page loads, I can make a comment on the warehouse. So currently you can access the warehouse without logging in. Like you can see, I'm a guest. You can access the dashboards apart from service from NASCOP as well, apart from area optimization, service desk, and data alignment. All the other dashboards on the NASCOP end you can access without having login details. But to access the ad hoc section, you need a username and a password. So currently, as is the data warehouse, we run federated access, where you have first to create a username and an account. Then the request goes to your organization steward. So your organization steward can grant or deny access to someone who has requested for access, because the stewards are members of the organization and they know who they work with, so they're able to give access to the warehouse. In the event that your organization does not have a steward, kindly send an email to the stakeholder engagement team through send an email to them, so we can, with the name and of the person who you would wish to nominate to be a steward, then we can allow them to be a steward, and moving forward they'll be granting access to users. Okay, thank you. uh, amount of data.
So if I may also add, are you able to, is there a way that you can be able to link the dashboard with an export command that you're able to export the data into Excel for other analytics?
Unfortunately, currently with the limitations of Tableau, the version of Tableau that we are using, you're not able to do that. But we have the ad hoc section where you can query data. You can query the data and it will update. Then you can generate to CSV. Hopefully, I'll be able to show you how to do that. Okay, yeah. So like now you can see I've changed. Sorry, Rugut, have I answered you before I go back to HTS?
Sure.
Okay, thanks. So in HTS, so like now you can see I've changed the filter from January to April to January to June. Then I can select, yeah, you can change by year. So you can pick 2019, for example. Then you can select a particular year in 2019, a particular week. Okay. For example, you just want the first 2 weeks of February or the last 2 weeks of June or July. You can select that. Then you can filter by partner, by service delivery partner, and whatnot. Okay. Then you'll be able to see, let me just go to HTS facilities. Hopefully it opens. So you'll be able to see the number tested by facility, the number positive for that particular facility, and the number linked for the particular facility. Then you can play around with the filters to see, like, for a particular period, what are the numbers based on the actual sites. So you can filter for your facilities and then view the dashboard based on that. I think there's a comment. I am not able to see my chat screen. Joseph, you can't hear me? Anyone else who can't hear me?
Could be from screen end because me I can hear you.
I think that is specific to Joseph. Maybe he has a network problem. I think the rest of us can hear you.
Okay, I'm trying to see if the NASCOP page will load so that we go to the ad hoc section. Because we can't do the ad hoc section from the test instance. We've not enabled that on our end. We can only do that from the NASCOP side.
So maybe any luck with the Mascop instance?
Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, no. Then okay, let me just give an explanation. So when a site is sending data to the warehouse, what happens is we clear everything for that particular site, then reinsert the data afresh. So that is the process that is currently happening, which we cannot pause because imagine if a site has sent 15% of its data, only like we'll have 15% next week, which is not fair for the sites that are really working hard to upload today. So that's why we can't like stop the process for this training to happen very well.
So in that case, would you like to conclude on the XTS? Then we devise a way forward, given the challenges.
Yeah, so let me just show you my screen. So that is how my screen looks like right now. There's an error. So maybe possibly we may need to reschedule this meeting. I don't know. We may need to get consensus from the team that is in this training right now. We reschedule, pick a date when we will stop all the services so that we make sure that we are using the resource specifically for training, because this doesn't happen normally. Normally we just use the warehouse. Sorry. Sorry. Normally it doesn't. We never get like this. Must be a big site or multiple sites are sending at the same time as we are trying to access the warehouse. Normally, even as a site is sending, we're able to access the warehouse comfortably. So today is just a unique instance.
Okay, so I think then it's approaching 4. It is 3:48, and I'm not seeing this improving anytime soon. So I guess, ladies and gentlemen, we may want to make a determination before we decide to reschedule this particular training. Maggie, would you advise on the day you feel we'll be having all the resources for the training, so then we can make a proposal and have guys see whether that is possible?
I would like to suggest Wednesday. Wednesday 8th of July. Is that okay with guys? Possibly the ones who are okay with 8th can raise up their hands so that we can see the number. Or if someone feels like any other date is okay, they can put that in the chat section.
Okay, so maybe let's just put it out to guys. If there is anyone who feels Wednesday is not working for them, kindly raise up your hand so then we can propose a different day. Could we reschedule this session to Wednesday next week on 8th? Anyone with a contrary opinion or another suggestion? And Maggie, maybe before we conclude, what particular time works best for you, for us on Wednesday, where we'll be getting all the resources for this training?
Between 9 and 12 would be ideal. That's the best time. Any time between 9 and 12 is ideal.
Okay, so
I can
guys,
see from the chat section, guys are saying that it's end month, sites are chasing to meet deadlines. Osoti, which date, and Kennedy, which date would you suggest so that we don't interfere with reporting?
I think from my personal perspective is that currently the month of July up to half of it is quite tricky in the light that we are doing that team reporting. And I know most of the M&E teams and even the technical teams at program level, that becomes a high priority. It's going to get packed as we go forward. So I think I just wanted to throw in that there.
What do you know?
So I don't know. In short, you are trying to say Wednesday 9 to 12 might not work best for you?
Yeah, from my end, Wednesday would really not work. I don't know, the meeting duration is?
No, I think we'll be having Maggie like 1 hour or 1.5.
Yes, 1 hour, 1.5.
We can still hold it there, then if one is not available, we can find somebody to come in and do the meeting. But I know, Mpaka 15th July is the team reporting, so it's quite packed. It has started getting a little bit packed here.
Okay, I think because of that, I don't know, I'm sure that affects almost the rest of the partners. So Maggie, in that case, could we just say we can get consensus outside this forum, then we are going to communicate to partners. So then maybe even if we don't do it next week, we can find a better time where let's say all the partners will be available, because I know during reporting, the reporting becomes the topmost priority for most of the partners. So we really don't want to kind of interfere with that. So my suggestion is that now we can just say we are going to reschedule the data warehouse training. Let's discuss, we'll be reaching out to individual partners and come up with a consensus. So even if it is not next week, we'll be able to communicate and agree on a new date, of course, within the month of July, but probably after the reporting.
That's okay, Bernard.
That's okay, and I'm very, very sorry for the inconvenience that the resource has caused to these sessions.
Okay. Yeah, so I think up to that point, I think let me just add my voice on Maggie's about our apologies for the inconveniences. It's a technological mishap, and there's just not too much we can do about it. So let's just shelve it for now. Let's reschedule. I guess we are going to find a better time when we'll be able to comfortably take you through this, and you'll be able to participate and interact with the dashboards. So then you understand what happens to your data once you upload it every month. So I think up to that point, unless there is a comment or a question from any of the participants, we will just call it a day. But I think we can spare a minute or two just to hear from anyone who would like to maybe say a word or two.
Yeah, Bernard, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe it has worked with the new adjustment to the national data warehouse. Our major concern previously raised to our partner stakeholder engagement focal person was that the reporting rates in the national data warehouse as portrayed is usually not real time. Like you find in June now, if I'm checking the reporting rates for the program I'm supporting, it would most likely give me the reporting rates for the period Jan-March while I'm in June. So I don't know whether that has been addressed. And then I think just basically that. But I think the improvement to the national data warehouse has been tremendous. It has been more helpful, and even our CASCOs and the program team are reaching out to get the data. I think we'll follow through the issue of that Maggie has raised in terms of accounts, because I know sometimes somebody wants to get the data like at a deeper level, and maybe just the guest account will not get them the privilege of doing that. Others to that end, I wish to say thank you. And I think this is a learning session. It's a learning that now we know that we cannot, when people are uploading the data, majorly between 1st and 5th, the national data warehouse, so that as we schedule the meetings, I think this experience informs us on how to schedule future meetings. Otherwise, thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you very much, Usweti. Maggie, I don't know if you have a response to the real-time reporting rates on the data warehouse.
Yeah, I possibly didn't get that clearly. You're saying that when you look at reporting rates for June, you are getting data for January to March. So what happens in reporting rates is when you upload between, so now like we're in July, right? So the sites that started uploading between 1st and 31st of July will be considered in the reporting for July. The ones that uploaded between 1st and 30th of June are included in the reporting rates for June. So the difference, I know you're going to tell me about the reporting cycle and whatnot. The warehouse is a bit different. So what we agreed to do, and with the input from NASCOP and PEPFAR, your said CDC, is that a facility like now we are in July, right? So we are looking at the active as at end of June. Okay, so we will not we will not say that the sites that uploaded between 1st and 5th of July to be included in the month of June. It will skew, it will like move, it will skew the data warehouse structure. So what we agreed was, if you upload any time in the month, the data that is considered is for the previous month and not the current month, which is what is currently happening. So maybe Osoti, possibly you can just look at that, see that it is that your facilities are well captured. If not, you can reach out to Otieno or myself, then we can look at what is actually happening. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Maggie. Anyone else with a question or a comment? Okay. I don't know if Dr. Jacob is in the call, just to make some final comment before we close.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I think for me, my possibly just three. Just speaking on the discussion around the differentiated service delivery models, I think the DSD work that we have done focuses mostly on the assessment and the multiple month appointment for clinical visits, because clinical visits is what it's the point at which we differentiate care between patients who are stable and patients who are unstable and require more intensive care. We did an analysis back in March at the beginning of the COVID-19 outbreak, and we found that quite a number of patients were still receiving short appointments even though they were stable. And from our review of the data in the warehouse recently, we are observing that actually facilities have responded to the circular that NASCOP issued, and the appointments are actually longer, meaning that you can now decongest your clinics and also ensure that you quickly convert the unstable patients into stable status, so that they can also further decongest the clinic. So COVID-19 is looking like it's the trigger that is accelerating multiple months dispensing. So the second thing is that the way we look at electronic medical record systems is that we hold them to a greater demand, a greater degree of implementation than paper sites in that individual level, EMRs can generate individual level data. To date, mostly the facilities have been the ones benefiting from individual level data because they use it for day-to-day running of facilities. But the Ministry of Health now is placing greater emphasis on the individual level data because it addresses gaps in data that we traditionally do not have at facility. That is why I gave the issue of DSD. There is a lot more information you saw from the dashboard that we can get from DSD than aggregate program data does not provide us. And we get this without having to visit the health facility for the data. So I know in the past we have traditionally focused on DHIS2 reporting, but as we move forward, the level of granularity that individual level data is providing to the Ministry of Health and also to PEPFAR is helping to reduce even some of the data requests that they make to the partners. So it's very important that we keep reporting to the National Data Warehouse so that we also, we have been receiving, I think, like in the last half year, we've responded to over 10, 15, I think there are over 20, I think, data requests from PEPFAR, requests that otherwise would have ended up in your desk as a partner, all because we have the National Data Warehouse. The final statement is just that the data warehouse is not equal to dashboards. The data warehouse is not equal to dashboards. Dashboards just provide us with a sneak preview of what is in the resource. The real meat of the National Data Warehouse is in the custom query tool and in the ad hoc section. It is in the ad hoc section that you can explore deeper the patterns you observe from the dashboards, and you can do your own manuscripts and abstracts. I hope that when we eventually go to orient you on the ad hoc section, we will also take you to the procedures that have been put in place by NASCO to facilitate you to download the data, get the approval, and write your abstracts and manuscripts without worrying about backlash from the head of NASCO. So we are really encouraging you to pay attention to the National Data Warehouse reporting. Already you have been seeing the printed or the PDF reports and newsletters we are producing. This will just increase to ensure that we don't hide data in the warehouse, but we expose it to stakeholders in the sector to help identify insights. We welcome you to give ideas about what we could put in these newsletters, and if you do so, we will acknowledge you your input to those particular newsletters. Over time, we are expanding the editors of the newsletters, and we'll be incorporating service delivery partners in them. And I hope that some of you may get an opportunity to be at least an editor in one or more of these newsletters as part of our collaboration with you. Otherwise, I want to take this opportunity to once again thank you for taking time and interest to learn about the National Data Warehouse. Hopefully, you can also be part of the story that is told about data for Kenya because of the work that you did, not just for service delivery, but also for the health information system scale-up. Thank you very much, and back to Bernard.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. So I think, guys, you've heard it from Dr. Jacob, the importance of uploading your data to the National Data Warehouse and how you can utilize the resource for your program and also at a personal level. So I guess that gives us enough impetus to keep on uploading data to the National Data Warehouse every month or as frequently as you deem fit. So I don't know if I'm locking anyone out. I think we are on top of the hour, 4 p.m. So if there is no further comments, then I think we'll call it a day. We'll reach out to you individually and also see how we can come up with a new date. I know this was not comprehensive enough because of the fluctuations and the internet interferences. So we'll reach out to you individually so that we can settle on a date that is workable for most of us. Then we'll reschedule this particular training and have it more comprehensively on a different date. So we'll reach out to you on that. Okay, so if there are no further questions, I think that's the end of it. Let's meet again in our next series of trainings as will be communicated by next week. Thank you very much and God bless you. Bye.